Loose Leaves, Peace Amidst Radical Change. Written and read by Alicia Fall. Chapter 10. Round and Round the Food Truck. 1980 BAME family dinner. Pass the pickles! Dear God, let there be more pickles and mashed potatoes and cereal that I can keep eating without ever getting full or fat, and alcohol that doesn't turn to sugar. And to me, that doesn't have a belly, because everyone knows bellies aren't only attractive when you're 3 or an adult woman who is pregnant. Dear God, I just want halva and nifla soup and ribs with drippy sauce and a big plate of nachos and a big spoon of cookie dough. I would hesitate to write this chapter. Sometimes the food binge is all you can do to get to the next day. Sometimes the carrot is absolutely necessary, as in the dream that you'll be a totally different person one day who binges on carrots. I can pinpoint years where it kept me alive to believe in the next thing around the corner that would make all the difference. The degree, the baby, the self-help book. We never stopped believing in Santa. The tooth fairy's handwriting looks suspiciously like Mom's, but we stick the tooth under our pillow anyway, just in case. It is a solid reason to live a decent, hell-defying life. We speed towards this and away from that, around and around, to the next thing, and the next, and next, like a caffeinated squirrel chasing its tail. If that's max of despair, sit with it, till the beauty arises, and it always will. If you feel a pang of fear, oh God, how could I stand that? Look deeper. How could you not rest in the vortex of love that fills every pregnant moment? Like nature, her seasons, from fall to winter to spring to summer to fall to winter to spring to summer, the life cycles of plants and animals, the caterpillar become a butterfly. If something seems one-sided, we just can't see the other side. There's always a balance. Despair, bliss. So the idea that something exists outside this what we know, that will change everything, is a very dangerous one, I think. It is only a short step from there to who or what that thing is needs my undivided power, attention, and money. Of course, if you're called to do XYZ, nothing I say makes any difference. But a whole lifetime can go by without full attention to your own living process. We're caught in these static ideas, but change is the only constant. And in moments of despair, and we all have them, we reach out. I've felt unseen forces reach back. I've experienced great relief in sharing with people in my life. Devotion calls you, lessens the despair. You'll not be let down. Praise and adore freely from your entire being. Living begets more living in this round and circles dance. Everything went to hell when I bought an $8 box of cereal. As part of my food recovery journey, I avoid eating flour, sugar, and drinking alcohol. This is a huge spiritual practice in and of itself. Well, this particular brand of cereal with a Bible verse plastered to the front ought to be safe, I thought. The cereal lasted exactly 1.25 days. All was cool in the first dose, my weighed portion, went to work. Later, at the worst time of day, one bowl turned to 2, to 3, from bowl to stomach. That sick, familiar, numbing sense of binge building. Gratefully, owing to all the insanely hard becoming sane about food work that has happened in recent years, I stopped right then and there. Am I a human being or a bottomless, insatiable, cursed creature? I asked myself. Instinct, hunger, desire, is there no end to how they turn me around? And no, there isn't. That's exactly all we're talking about. Sometimes it's more pleasant than other times. Okay, deep breaths, do some writing, 10 questions, also known as permission to be human action plan. This is an inquiry process for when you eat off of your plan. I'm like a cow, addicted to grass, not that kind of grass. It's not illegal to slowly kill yourself with food. Being 70 pounds overweight was miserable, but totally okay as a 40-some-year-old married woman. Now, in a normal-sized body, I'm miserable in an old, familiar way, like someone being smacked in the head by an older sibling as they say, "Stop hitting yourself." I can hear the voices in my head, this and that voices. Indulger, I deserve a break, a treat once in a while. Controller, I don't deserve to be fat and miserable. I need to be stricter with food. Indulger, building up steam. It's freaking no sugar cereal. Controller, putting on her librarian face. You added raisins and honey. Had 3 bowls. Wasn't on your food plan. Thank God, and amidst the brewing war, curious voice of sanity. Do you really think this has anything to do with what you do or don't eat? What you think you do or don't deserve? No, food is secondary to deeper issues. Deserving isn't part of this equation. The idea of I decide what is okay for me in any given moment is a gross overestimation of perceived control when dealing with addiction. The idea there's something else that will make this okay. There's some other thing that will save me from myself. There isn't. If you're susceptible to the food crazy as I am, you have to plan and protect yourself every day at every turn. A leads to B. If I buy cereal, I eat cereal. Like going to work leads to a paycheck. Staring into each other's eyes to falling in love. Bringing a man to bed to having sex. Getting married to having children. Being alive to suffering. I am an acupuncturist. Very forgetful. Oh yeah, why don't I treat myself? Kind of acupuncturist. Addiction treatment's fantastic. Can use needles to balance energy, lessen craving, or a seed on a sticker in the ear that can be pressed as craving picks up. You reset the brain, you put the car in neutral. It's like saying, okay, I'm going this way now. Emotional freedom technique is like at your own fingertips, self-administered, non-needle version. There's gobs of resources online, including a great phone app by the Tapping Solution that shows the points as you tap. EFT Tapping, as it's called for short, is one of my most go-to tools. Here's a short version. First, you rate the issue from 1 to 10, on a scale 1 to 10. Start tapping on the side of the hand, karate point, and say 3 times, even though I have this craving, desire to eat, pain in my back, anxiety, really anything. I completely and deeply accept myself. Again, even though I have whatever it is, fill in the blank, I completely and deeply accept myself. Then tap through the points from inside eyebrow, outside the eyebrow, directly under the eye, under the nose, under the mouth, on the collarbone. Rest your hand on your chest where your thumb is on one side and your fingers are on the other side. Under the arm against the side of the body about the brow level. And lastly on top of your head. Of course you can find these points online. Just search EFT Tapping. Run through all these points in turn, tapping a few seconds while focusing on the issue and talking about it. Feeling into how you feel. Just stay true to how you're feeling right now in thinking. Assess how you feel as you go and just adjust and keep following what's happening. It's possible for the story to start to shift to something even more open and positive by the 3rd time through the points, and then you speak to that. And tap that in as well. Re-rate the issue. If it's still over 4, you can run through this process again. It sounds very simple, but don't knock it till you try it. I found this tool to be surprisingly effective at times of feeling stuck. The only challenge is to remember to use them. Don't let them sit at the bottom of your drawers like fancy undies. Much addiction recovery is religious-based. Typical recovery work like AA and all its variations was started by a few religious white dudes. I found this to be only partially helpful. You cannot heal something only with the mind and willpower, a sickness that's also coming from the body. No matter how much prayer, meditating I was doing pre-2016, I was still overweight and miserable. I really needed the physical boundaries for shifting destructive and addictive eating habits, and that I found in Brightline Eating, not another diet. My bipolar religious beliefs went from Catholic family to Christian with a capital C, Billy Graham evangelizing our living room. Then more recently, owing in part to a faith community that cared more about me and my healthy, unique expression than my beliefs, went straight up agnostic atheist, capital AA, Get it? Not quite. Quite wonderful, though, to realize the anticipated and long-feared lightning strike did not strike. Since that meditation episode in front of my clothes closet, I can't do either of those extremes anymore. If pressed, I believe in mystery that guides us, that lives through us, that I open to experiencing honestly, day to day, connecting with my fellow humans. I access and expressing art, whatever form that takes. To deny all this would be denying the experience of God, the one unforgivable sin in Christian tradition is not listening to the Holy Spirit. That would be shutting tight the window onto Spirit. From Rumi's Zero Circle, we're too dull-eyed to see that beauty. We say we can see it, we're lying. If we say no, we don't see it. That no will behead us and shut tight the window onto Spirit. And the rest of the poem says, so let us rather not be sure of anything besides ourselves and only that, so miraculous beings come to help. Crazed, lying in a zero circle, mute, we shall be saying finally with tremendous eloquence, lead us. When we have totally surrendered to that beauty, we shall be a mighty kindness. One of the most lividly angry episodes I've had in my life was being completely broken down in tears and told to pray about it. No hug, nothing but a sterile pointy finger at their lifeless statue. A mighty kindness that was not. When it comes to food for me, the only thing that's worked was some clear guidelines, bright lines. The food recovery method I credit with saving me from obesity, diabetes is called Brightline Eating. Every day do this. Night before, plan, then eat. Night before, plan, and then the next day eat. Eat what you planned. Every day with much compassion, getting much better at matching your well thought out plan with what actually happens. Getting used to an incredible amount of time this frees up. The bright lines, what 100% matters. 1, no flour. 2, no sugar. Alcohol turns to sugar. 3 meals. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's not mealtime, don't eat. No one died from not eating for 4 hours. Be prepared, though, for crash course lessons in breathing through emotional hunger and self-care skills. 4, food's weighed out. Otherwise, your brain will never shut up about how much more food it can get away with. At least my brain never shuts up about more food until I say a solid, no, you're not getting more food. And I definitely have more leverage when there are numbers involved. This plan involves 20 ounces of vegetables, so weighing also makes sure you get enough of what you need. All this over and over again to the best of my ability every day since October 30th, 2016. Why not the day before the biggest sugar holiday in the country, Halloween? At my worst, I would have black eyes the next day from how much sugar I'd ate the day before. Could hardly stand myself at my sister's Halloween party, 70 pounds overweight, embarrassed in some ridiculous diva costume, desperate for something to finally work. I tried a 10-day lemon maple juice fast. It was great for spiritual growth, but horrible for food sanity. I tried a very muscular woman's online 8-week challenge to exercise my brain in its complexity. I just decided I'm going to love my body. I'm just going to love myself. But unfortunately, I couldn't really move around. My not pregnant belly is hitting people's heads mid-massage in constant chronic pain. One day I closed the bedroom door. I did some very private ecstatic dance just to feel like me again. Just to remember there's life under there, under those layers. Notice nowhere in Brightline Eating is the word exercise. It's great for health benefits, but has nothing to do with weight loss. If I had $1 every time I heard it's a simple equation, calories in, calories burned, why am I getting fatter and sicker? I felt like screaming. So thank you. Thank you, Susan Pierce Thompson, and countless others. I and countless others really appreciate you listen to this mid-meditation nudge to write the book Brightline Eating and start this movement. There's ways to modify this scaffolding to specific diets or your individual needs. So check it out. Go online for a deluge of Brightline Eating information, Facebook groups, loquacious video vlogs. Thankfully, more doctors are recognizing Brightline Eating as a legitimate treatment for obesity and all its negative health consequences. It's interesting to note that I made exceptions for alcohol until spring of 2018. That is a beast in and of itself. My college drinking career was impressive. My paternal grandfather was an alcoholic, even by Catholic family standards. I'm here to say we're not victim to those patterns. Doors open when you commit to a change. I'm here as an imperfect but absolutely unstoppable example of recovery. Miraculous change is possible. The cow and her addicted personality would go something like this. Moo, grass. More grass. I have to eat grass. Moo, I like grass. It has to go through all 4 of my stomachs and back again and all the chewing. Look, Bessie over there in the feedlot, living off the hog with her grains. Wait, I want to be Bessie. She doesn't work this hard. I did grow up on a farm, you know. It reminds me of another great Brightline Eating saying, eyes on your own plate, or insert marriage or body or suffering or life in general. We're in this together, but only you are living with or suffering through the consequences of your choices. When I make food exceptions, my joints hurt, no one else's. It is possible I may be channeling the fine grass-fed New York strip steak I had Sunday night. I just need some protein. The steak that got locked in the stove under the broiler when the oven got too hot. Quick, unplug the stove. Insert husband moving the refrigerator. Oh no, it didn't work. Tense 10 minutes as the oven cools and eventually lets loose my steak. It was a fine, well done piece of protein. And bonus, it's clean behind the fridge now. Buddha's coconut fell down from the tree, cracked head open experience started here. 1, we all suffer, clearly. 2, we continue suffering, doing the same thing, expecting different results, not seeing the obvious, not being honest with ourselves about what we crave. I choose a food binge the moment the cereal box hits my shopping cart. 3, we can see the obvious and stop suffering. I cannot change the facts of a food binge retroactively. But I can move forward now with more awareness. Biblical wheat pellets, not good. They need to be off limits. 4, Buddha began Buddhism, a fine religious alternative. In Buddhism are many lengthy books and teachings to busy the mind and as many denominations as Christianity to choose from. Just be like Buddha. There's a fine tree you can sit underneath until the obvious becomes more obvious and willingness to change, a solid path. There's a path up a mountain or a right way to go round and round a food truck. Remember how many times you've already walked this way. Don't let anyone speed you up or tell you which way. Your footfalls are in the perfect rhythm. You can rest whenever you need. You're home and journeying. There's no way to fail. If there's no way to fail, do you still do what you're doing?